Let's do some problems. Let's start with very simple problems and slowly start picking up from there. Let's begin. Okay, so problem number 1 has this question. Magnitude of A is 6 units, magnitude of B is 8 units. If magnitude of A plus B is 10 units, what is the angle between A and B? It's a very simple question. You know why it is very simple? I'm pretty sure you can figure this out. The reason is, look at the numbers 6, 8 and 10. That could mean only one thing, 90 degrees, because they are Pythagorean triplets. So the answer is 90 degrees. Next question, please. Alright, let's see what we have. Magnitude of A is 2 times magnitude of B, and the sum has a magnitude which is 3 times that of B. Find the angle between A and B again. Sometimes when you have such kind of problems where no values are given but just relationships are given, it can be solved by assuming some value, okay? But don't assume values like 0 or 1 because you want a general answer. So assume some random number, not like some 563 because that's going to cause problems while doing the math. Something like 3 or 4 or 5. Okay, so let's do this. Problem number 2. Since values are given in terms of vector B, what we will do now is we'll assume vector B is, let's say it's something like 5. Then vector A becomes 10. And vector A plus B becomes, in that case, 3 times 5. That is 15. Notice something? You have 10, you have 5, and you have 15. 15 is 5 plus 10. This can only happen when the two vectors are parallel to each other, right? Therefore, the answer is, the angle is 0. Next question, please. Alright, let's see what we have here. In this question, we've been given that magnitude of A is 5 units and is directed along the north. Okay, let's quickly draw that. The moment you see questions like this and you know that you have to draw it, don't wait until you read the entire question. Just draw as you read it. So it is 5 units along the north. So this is north for me. So this is vector A. Alright. Okay, and B is 10 units directed along south. Alright, let's draw that. South would be opposite of north. So this is 10 and this guy would be B. Find the angle between A plus B and A minus B. So let's add them first. A plus B, well, since these guys are opposite to each other, they try to cancel out. So the bigger one wins and you get 5. That makes sense, right? If you want to do A minus B, be a little bit careful because you have to flip vector B. So this would be A with 5 units and this would be vector minus B with 10 units. So A minus B is going to be 15 this way. So this is what we have. This is what we wanted. And our question asks us the angle. I don't care about the magnitude, it's just the angle that we need. And one is towards the north and one is towards the south, so anti-parallel. So the answer is 180 degrees. Next question, please. Okay. In this question, we have angle A and B make an angle of, vectors A and B make an angle of 50 degrees. So I'll follow my rules, and my rules are, the moment you read something and you feel the need to draw it, draw it. Here is A, here is B, this angle is 50. Okay, and if A plus B, that's the resultant. So the resultant makes an angle of 20 degrees with A. Let me draw that with a different color. Let me use white. So the resultant is going to be something like this. And if they have given the resultant makes an angle of 20 degrees. So this guy with A, that's this guy, that's 20 degrees with A. So this guy would be immediately 30 degrees. So that's the basic problem. So we have converted problem into diagram. Which of the following is true? So we just have to compare whether A is bigger or B is bigger. Think about it. You see, if two friends are pulling you in two different directions, okay, suddenly you experience a force right in between them. If the two forces were equal in magnitude, you experience a force right in between. But if one force was bigger, then you would be more inclined towards that person. Or in other words, the resultant will be more inclined towards the vector which is bigger. That means the resultant will always make smaller angles with the vector which is always bigger. You get that? Let me take an example, an extreme case. If I have one vector which is yay big, and I have a second vector which is this big, and I ask you what the resultant is going to be, well, you complete the parallelogram and you will see the resultant is somewhat like this. Look at this angle, this is very small angle, and look at this one, it's huge. So the resultant always makes smaller angle with the bigger vector. Just makes sense, right? It's making 20 degrees with A. So clearly A must be the bigger vector. So this is the answer. Next question, please. Okay, let's see what we have here. This is what? Question 4. Two vectors have magnitudes 8 and 10. Their resultants have magnitude of 9. Then the angle between them is, I think we did this when we're doing examples. So the trick to solving such problems where you just want to know whether it's acute, obtuse or not, 90 degrees, you find out what would have happened if the angle was 90 degrees. If the angle was 90 degrees, then this would be 8 and this would be 10, and if you use Pythagoras, it would be 64 plus 100, that's 164. This is if theta is 90 degrees. But our given answer is 9 units. 9 is the square root of 81. Our given answer is less than. This is smaller. Therefore, theta must be bigger. So theta must be more than 90 degrees. We discussed this, right? So it must be obtuse angle. Next question, please. Finally, this is what? Question number 5? I have lost track of it. Never mind. Okay, so in this one, we have vector A plus B and vector A have the same magnitudes. Okay. And A plus B is perpendicular to A. Ooh. Alright. So let's draw this. If I draw A this way, this guy is 10, this guy is A. Then A plus B, okay, I figured out. So I'll draw it here. Okay, let me draw it a little smaller. This guy is 10, this guy is A. Then A plus B is going to be this way. This is A plus B. Alright, you get that? Okay. Where should B be? Where should vector B be located? You can see, right, from the parallelogram law, vector B must be somewhere this side. Like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to complete the parallelogram here. This is supposed to be a part of the parallelogram. I'm going to complete the parallelogram like this. I'm going to draw this way. This must be vector B. Whenever you get questions like this, where you have one vector and you have the resultant, you always draw it. Always. You draw it and you solve. It's very easy to do it. Don't try to do it mathematically by doing the algebra. Draw and do it. Very simple. And the reason now what we can do is we can concentrate on this little triangle over here. So I'm going to name that triangle. This is 0, this is O, this is P, this is Q. I'm going to concentrate on triangle OPQ because I know the side OP is 10. I also know the side PQ, that's also 10. And the side OQ is what I want. And that's easy because this is 90 degrees. So it's Pythagoras, that's 10 root 2. So I have found what magnitude of vector B is. That's why you always draw. If you draw it, you can use trigonometry to figure it out, or in our case, Pythagoras theorem. Alright, now what's going to be the angle between A and B? Well, we already know this is 90. We just want to figure out what this angle is going to be. Again, just look at the triangle PQO, okay. In that triangle, you can see it's an isosceles triangle, so it has to be 45 degrees. So this guy is 45 and this guy is 90. So the total angle is 90 plus 45. That is 135 degrees. Do we have next question? No next question. So that ends this episode. I hope you had some fun and learned something about vectors. Do a lot of review problems. I will see you next time, and next time we will talk about components of vectors, vector decomposition, Cartesian format, and a lot of stuff. See you.